Maybe it wasn't love. Maybe it was just familiar pain. What if the person you loved wasn't really love, just a familiar version of pain wearing a kind disguise? What if the connection you couldn't let go of was rooted not in passion, but in old emotional patterns? And what if that magnetic feeling wasn't destiny, but a mirror reflecting your deepest, unhealed wounds? Part 1. When love feels like home, but hurts like hell. We all know the feeling, that electric click, the invisible pull, the sense that this person is right. It's like finding home in someone's eyes. But what if that sense of home wasn't love at all? What if it was familiarity? What if the comfort you felt was actually your nervous system recognizing an old emotional blueprint? One etched with abandonment, conditional affection, and silence mistaken for care. Sometimes, the people who draw us in the deepest aren't our soulmates, they're mirrors. Mirrors of our past hurts. Mirrors of the pain we normalized so long ago that we now mistake it for intimacy. Maybe he made you feel like you constantly had to prove your worth, like love was a reward you had to chase. Maybe she made you believe that absence was tenderness, that silence meant safety. You kept trying like a child, waiting for a distracted parent to finally notice. That wasn't love. That was the survival instinct dressed up in hope. And here's the hardest part. It didn't feel wrong. It felt magnetic, familiar. Because sometimes, our hearts don't follow love. They follow patterns. Patterns we never realized we were replaying. So before we talk about healing, before we speak of letting go, we have to look in the mirror, not just to see them, but to finally see ourselves. Let's keep walking forward into the next chapter. Part 2. Why you keep loving what hurts you. Earlier, we spoke about how what feels familiar can masquerade as love. That same familiarity, especially when rooted in pain, can quietly pull us back into relationships that feel hauntingly similar to the ones that hurt us most. So why do we keep choosing people who wound us? Why do we fall for the same kind of pain over and over again? Because when we grow up in an environment where love is earned, not freely given, we unconsciously believe that this is what love is supposed to feel like. Love, in our minds, becomes a reward, something we must chase, prove ourselves worthy of, and suffer for. We're not addicted to the pain. We're addicted to the idea that maybe this time will be enough. That maybe this time, if we just try a little harder, love won't leave us behind. It's not the person we're chasing, it's resolution. Our brain is wired to close the loop, to finish the story, to go back to that old emotional wound and rewrite the ending. So we look for people who resemble the ones that hurt us before, not because we want to relive the pain, but because we're still hoping to finally win a game we never had a fair chance at. But the ending never changes. It doesn't matter how many times you replay the story, the pain only deepens. Because healing doesn't happen when you repeat the script. Healing begins when you finally put the pen in your own hand and choose to write something new. This is the turning point, the place where recognition becomes power, where awareness becomes the first step to freedom. Part 3. The difference between love and chemistry. We ended the last part with a powerful truth. Healing begins when we stop replaying old stories. But even when we recognize our patterns, there's still one more illusion that often pulls us back in chemistry. Here's the truth. No one ever really told us, or at least not loudly enough. Not everything that lights you up inside is love. That jolt in your chest, the butterflies, the rush of emotion, those can feel thrilling, intoxicating even. But sometimes, that spark isn't the beginning of love. Sometimes, it's a flare, a warning. Some sparks are signs of danger, not destiny. Some fireworks are not signs of fate, but red flags dressed in glitter. And yet, we chase them. Because we've been taught that love should be overwhelming, that it should sweep us off our feet, take our breath away, make us dizzy with desire. But real love is different. It doesn't make you question your worth. It doesn't keep you up at night wondering where you stand. It doesn't come and go like a storm. Real love is steady, soft, safe. It's not a roller coaster. It's the shore you return to after the waves. It's a hand that doesn't pull you into chaos, but one that holds you still, in peace. So if you find yourself constantly chasing someone, running after crumbs of affection, holding on to moments that feel fleeting, ask yourself gently, is this love I'm feeling, or just the addictive high of being chosen? The answer to that question could change everything. And in the next part, we'll take a deeper look at what true healing really looks like, not in poetry or performance, but in the quiet moments we rarely talk about. Part 4. What healing actually looks like. After confronting the difference between love and emotional addiction, a quiet question emerges. What does healing really look like? It's not glamorous. It's not cinematic. And it rarely feels like a breakthrough. Healing isn't poetic, it's painfully real. It's waking up with a weight on your chest, knowing you missed someone who wasn't good for you, and still choosing not to reach out. It's crying in silence at night, not because you want them back, but because you're grieving the illusion you held on to for so long. It's the moment you reread old messages and realize you were doing all the reaching, all the bending, all the holding on. It's the quiet decision, made again and again, to choose peace over chaos, even when chaos feels more familiar. Healing looks like mornings when you don't check your phone first, like days when your mind doesn't spiral into what-ifs, like nights when you sleep, not perfectly but in one piece. It's not linear, it's not loud, but in that messy, uneventful, quiet process, something shifts. You start to hear your own voice again. You start to breathe without feeling like you're waiting for someone else to give you permission. And the loneliness? It slowly begins to feel like space. Space to grow, space to heal, space to come back to yourself. Because healing is not a grand performance. It's the smallest, repeated act of self-loyalty. Part 5. The truth that sets you free. Maybe it wasn't love. Maybe it was your trauma dressed up as desire, wrapped in longing, painted with the colors of what you always hoped love would be. But here's the gift hidden in the ache. Once you name the pattern, you no longer have to play it out. You no longer have to keep chasing storms, calling them passion. You can pause, breathe, and choose something different. You can choose peace, even if it doesn't feel familiar yet. You can choose presence, even if you were taught that being seen meant performing. You can choose the quiet truth, even when the loud lie still calls your name. Because the kind of love that doesn't hurt does exist. It's out there. And more importantly, it starts within you. It begins the moment you stop mistaking pain for purpose. The moment you stop calling abandonment fate. The moment you decide that you are no longer available for anything less than real. This is your moment of clarity. Not every ending is a heartbreak. Some endings are escapes, exits from the chapters you were never meant to stay stuck in. Let go. You're not turning your back on love. You're turning toward the kind that lasts. If this message touched you even a little, don't keep it to yourself. Leave a comment, share your truth, Help this message reach someone else who needs it. Every word you share could be the hand someone else is waiting to hold. This is Mindful Way Television, where healing has a voice and your story matters. If you found something in this video that resonated, I invite you to stay, subscribe, explore more of our journey, and most importantly, be part of this mindful movement. And if you're ready for the next step in your healing, don't miss our next video. It's one you won't forget. See you there.